How's it going, guys? My name is Alex.
Good evening.
And welcome to a video where I wanted to share a tip on how you can maximize your chances on turning the games around. If you're losing and your passes are being intercepted, nothing goes your way, this is where eFootball on console, and very soon I assume a mobile user is going to be getting that, can use a special feature. And by clicking only one button, like this, on the D-pad, they can achieve a completely different formation, a different playstyle if they want to, different individual instructions on their players, and actually grab the initiative back. And that is how I managed to make most of my comebacks, just activated by one button. You achieve this formation, whatever formation you want, in fact. So you can edit position, and if you like this wheelchair or trying to be positioned here. And I will be sharing some tricks and tips on this. So I was searching on YouTube, I didn't find a proper tutorial video, so I decided to make mine. I hope this one helps you. So what I did, I decided that this formation works for me currently with possession game, and then if I want to be more aggressive, right, so I can switch to something mid-game, it will be called defensive, and when you're switching to the sub-tactic, your opponent also sees that, so keep that in mind. You need to ensure that this is on, right, use sub-tactic on, and then from here you edit position of your players however you want. I can play 3 at the back, but notice how some of my players now are positioned differently, right, so I just have Theo Hernandez, who is naturally left back, he's playing as a center back. So this is where I think in my starting 11, if I had Costa Curta, I didn't get him from penalty challenge, unfortunately. I would be in a very good position because Costa Curta can equally play as a left back or as a center back. So this is where you can use position boosters on Theo Hernandez to ensure that he can play as a center back then. So other than that, all of my other players can actually play in different positions. For instance, Trent, he becomes a center midfielder, which is naturally he can do. He can play there. Maradona becomes attacking midfielder. Salah turns right mid forward, into right mid forward from right midfielder, and Pires becomes left mid forward. So this is very aggressive, and your defensive line is already high. You're risking a lot, but you're risking for the biscuit, you know. And also, this is actually very fun when you have a manager like Southgate. So, for instance, if I had a Southgate manager, and he has proficiency in 2 different playstyles. This is actually interesting. So if I were to start like a diagonally spinning route with long ball counter playstyle with deep defensive line, letting my opponent have possession of the ball, wait for their mistakes, I could then go to my sub tactic and have a team playstyle, not a long ball counter, but quick counter, for instance. So this would change things drastically just because I now have a more aggressive approach to the game. Not only I have 3 at the back, but I also have a high defensive line and very aggressive gegenpressing in place just because of that other playstyle activated. You can equally start with an aggressive playstyle like this and switch to something more defensive. Let's jump into some online games. So these are pre-recorded, and I just was fascinated how it worked against very experienced veterans and players who know how to play the game. It all starts in a similar fashion. It's either I score a goal or I concede a goal, and yeah, I just then concede like more and I try to come back. So first goal we score, we were lucky, and then instantly we are now conceding to actually a very good player. So absolutely no complaints about this goal, very skillful, and we have the pleasure of watching the celebration, which is actually additional bonus. Animations are great, this game is quite realistic. I would say that shadows can be worked. Yeah, we can work more on shadows, but you know what? I mean, maybe they're working on a shoestring budget. You never know what Konami is up to. They promised us the Unreal Engine 5 like 2 years ago, and it's never happening. That's a beautiful goal that you see. How Maradona bodied, I think that was Kunde, so not looking good, bruv, but yeah. Let's see if we can maybe come back, and not come back, I think, because my opponent somehow finds these gaps, and I'm trying to be more aggressive, like I'm trying to match up, I'm trying to be close to my opponent as possible, cover the passing lanes, and he still finds, like, that's the sign of quality, when opponent still finds a way how to escape the challenges and just dink the ball onto the head of Bergkamp, who, again, I think Kunde is bodied there, despite like having, let's see, who was the culprit there? Oh yes, yeah, it was Trent. So Trent, for some reason, decided to take initiative. And just because Trent is running towards the player, Saliba decides, okay, let you do this, little bro. I let you now contest that header, which you didn't even attempt to win. And that's how we concede again. And this is going from bad to worse as we get this insane sequence of passing going straight down the middle, which my defenders are deciding to act up like they are NPCs. And maybe it's my absence of my quick and on-point snappy switching, but this is the formation that I decided to switch to. And as you can see, we have 3 at the back, quite attacking formation, but also have options on the sides where if we need we can cross, but I just don't like crossing because it's like 50-50. But this is what we're switching from. So we're clicking on the button, of course, and I'm ensuring that my starting players can play in the positions of the sub tactic. And this is what actually the downside of this. We had only 3 defenders, and my opponent somehow still found that opening for a player, and he passed right into his Maradona. Maradona is insane. That free Maradona she's getting from a penalty challenge is actually a fantastic card. I recommend you guys starting using him because he wins those headers too. And he has that jumping in him embedded, like a good jumping stats, solid jumping stats in fact, and acrobatic finishing too if you add it. So it's time for a comeback then. We now have more players up front, and Lukaku is my target man, and he earns a penalty, and he's gonna be taking it, of course. And just for banter, we are taking it as a panenka down the middle, offering our opponents to equally like enjoy the celebrations and the replays. But unfortunately, opponent some reason just stops enjoying them, and he skips them. So I don't know what's the reason for that. But I'm pretty sure that we will be able to offer our opponent another opportunity to watch the celebrations because we have so many players up front. You see, we had the chance to pass it to Trent, but we decided to turn with Neymar and tried on his weaker foot. And this Neymar card as well, a free card, is special too. He can deliver. And yeah, our opponent also like doesn't like watching animations anymore, and he skips those as we have final chances. Trent, you see, this is how we play a little bit wider, and we have players to pick up the ball. All the deflections are ours, and we can also chip the ball into Bellingham and watch his... No, we can't watch his trademark celebration just because opponent decides to skip the celebration and the replay as well. And it is 4-4. We were losing 4-1, and we managed to narrow... Like, okay, it's an out chance for Neymar. Okay, I'm cutting down the angle and curling. And obviously Neymar decides to bottle it. I think this is the variance kicking in, so he scored a screamer with Neymar on his weaker foot, so obviously a curler on his stronger foot will never be going in then. So 4-4 is a nice score. Opponent enjoyed the celebration, we enjoy a nice point. It's a penalty. And this is where another game where I think we are conceding first, as our opponent tries some finesse dribbles. We try to double pressure, and unfortunately we were fooled by that. Like, that's actually a very fun goal. That's a very good deserved goal. Let's take a look at the celebration. Insane. That's a good animation on Howard. Like I said before, I like shadows better in other football games, so I can work on that. So these cutscenes can be a little bit more realistic. From this angle, it's actually looking very realistic. So let's take a look at the goal. Yeah, okay, so for some reason he decides to skip the replay of the goal. Okay, let's take a look at some other maybe celebrations from our opponent if they occur in this game. But this is where we have this chance with Jorginho now. Let's see if we can score with our... No, we can't. See, it's getting difficult, and our opponent is Ufin, and he has a chance there. It's our Bellingham passing. Maradona, Neymar. Now, we see we're struggling. We don't have the numbers up front, and our opponent is goading us. And this is where we click the button. We now switch to... It will be set defensive on screen. Yeah, I switched it twice. I just decided to ensure if I'm switching correctly. Now I'm playing this defensive, but in fact it's attacking. If you take a look at the radar, you will see there are 3 defenders, and we are playing our attacking sub-tactic. And our opponent decides to back pass again, and it's our duty now to ensure that he can also enjoy some more animations of players celebrating a goal in eFootball. This is where Maradona from a double touch into a curl. Actually, nice goal, but I think my opponent could have blocked it. My man is still insisting on back passing, and yeah, this is an average football player. I mean, I don't know if he really wants to represent his country like that, but this is the impression that people get when playing against him. So he may be changing at least his username. And this is where we get this 1-2 playing. I mean, I'm not even after scoring, you see deflection, but double touch and cheeky like shimmy. In fact, when you perform double touch and quickly press shoot, sometimes players perform shimmy, and Mbappe scoring a goal, offering our opponent to enjoy a celebration too there. And we are winning the game this time. And this is the impact of this special tactic. Obviously, you need to keep your composure. Ufin, and he has... Right, this is where we are trying to win a game against an experienced opponent, because he has that Nesta. So that Nesta was a gift that was given like in eFootball 2023. And yeah, I didn't play the game back then. And Mbappe is through. Mbappe scores, and Mbappe is lethal. And we are opening the scoring. Let's keep it, because we don't... I mean, we've seen this celebration before. I'm new to the game, but not as new, so I don't need to watch an same celebration 15 times over and over again. But we are now on the back foot for some reason. This is a nice opening for Maradona. Actually, I thought that was an offside, but for some reason it's a goal. Now Mbappe is scoring. That's actually a nice goal, I would say. So I try to intercept, but some goals are like just like this passing sequence. I don't know what you need to do to stop those, and I think it all comes with experience. But it's like years of experience you need to use to make use of those years of experience to stop those. And again, this is like one of those passes that I just don't understand how these gaps appear in my defense. So it must be maybe like playstyles of my defenders, but it's time to click the button then. So let's see if we can maybe turn things around. As you can see, the message about defensive popped up on the screen, and now we can try to be a little bit more aggressive. We play with 3 defenders. We will be exposed if we are doing like one simple mistake and we can be in trouble. But this is what Trent is now becoming a right midfielder, and look how attacking he is. And I didn't cross, I just passed there to Maradona because Trent like pulled one of the fullbacks or center backs closer to him, and that gap appeared for me. So I can at least explain how that gap appeared, unless yeah, unlike with the goal that I conceded. But yeah, do let me know in the comments maybe what I do wrong defensively. I'm still new to the game. But this sub-tactic, man, it just like makes this game much more enjoyable. Obviously, if you play in mobile, you can switch to like a different formation, but it will take you time. And as we are scoring a winner in the extra time, so yeah, you can switch to a different formation manually, but it will take you time, right? And you need to go to the pause. Obviously, opponent knows what you're doing. Well, opponent sees that you're switching to sub-tactic, but he doesn't know what sub-tactic is about. Say so. I try to. So we're winning that game, and we have one more game left, and this is where we are playing. Yeah, I think we're playing this from already from a position where we're losing, and I'm trying to see what kind of combination of players will work for a sub-tactic, and it looks like this 3 at the back formation makes sense to me with this team. And we're playing once, of course. We're losing 85th minute. I'm not sure if I can conjure up something, but kind of can. And as we get in some kind of weird deflections going our way, opponent plays one-bar defensive, but still he's very exposed there as our winger. I think that's Foden. Yeah, he gets a nice opening there and some space for a dribble, and we equalize. And we were on back foot all game, and I couldn't create anything in this game. And in fact, we are getting a free kick in a dangerous area where I actually managed to score free kicks in this game already. And this is a chance for Trent, who actually was the one who was scoring free kicks for me, despite having like only 83 in place kicking. I think it's embedded in this player that he is just so good. And we are passing it, playing it short. And I think it was, I'm getting grouped by, yeah, somehow it's not a penalty. But anyway, we are getting into penalties where, look, just because of that sub-tactic, we are still in this game, man. Because otherwise, I was struggling. I couldn't find the recording of the first part of the game. Usually I record these games with narration, but this is where I wasn't really caring much. And I was thinking that it's a really nice piece of footage where we just used the sub-tactic, we became a little bit more aggressive, and everything is available with one button. I didn't play AFC. Can you do that in AFC, by the way? Because that's actually quite obvious tactic. Obviously, additionally, you can play 2 or 1 bar attacking, but I don't think that's just as effective because you are sending forward a defender who is not good at dribbling. So maybe heading is nice, but then when you want to control the ball, and I like to score ground after like a sequence of ground passes more than curling, and yeah, it's just like it's not as I want to optimize, you know, I want to optimize my chances when I am going all in, and this is where the penalty sesh is. I mean, I was like fooling around. I didn't know. I don't know. I mean, I like Panenkas, man. I'm addicted to Panenkas. So, I mean, yeah, he made this shimmy to the left. He's gonna be jumping to the right. He isn't. Okay, nice. We're scoring our goal. And so this is where, I mean, many people knew about that. It's not like I'm like it's not rocket science or sub-tactic. Just like I'm sharing my tips. Also, additionally, you know that you can add instructions additionally to your players. So if you play in 3 at the back, I would probably give deep line to your defensive midfielder, at least 1, maybe 2, so that in case if you actually have to defend, because you will have to defend, at least one of those defenders will fall down, and it's actually Panenka to the left, interesting. And this is where you will be able to at least defend with 4 players, because you actually will see on the radar when a deep line is activated. A player, defensive midfielder, most often, right? He's gonna be dropping down and creating that back line of 4. And back line of 4 is just like some kind of like a special, like a unique combo that, I don't know, it works, man. When you play in 3 at the back, unless you have like full boosted team when Vieira and Gilberto Silva or Rijkaard are making all the dirty work for your defenders, and defenders barely are even active, maybe it works for you, but I just can't play 3 at the back, man. So this is where I am going all in. Sometimes I can see goals like we've seen in the first game, but this is where our opponent, we played the mind tricks and we actually won that game. So we were, all of this game, we were behind, and somehow we managed to score. So this is the sub-tactic, a special trick that helps you turn games around. I hope you enjoyed this one. I'll see you next one. Peace.